Alright folks, what is going on? Back with another video, and I got a quick question. Why do Xbox make stuff so hard? Why do they make things so hard for themselves when it comes to this console hardware software thing? Now, we just saw not too long ago where Asha Sharma, and I think it was somebody else, I can't remember the names, it's all over the place. They were saying that they're committed to the Xbox brand and console. So I'm sitting here thinking like, all right, if y'all are committed to this, right, and everything is supposed to be on the up and up, right, why is the fact that y'all can't go back to the basics that will help you get the most revenue and the best situation to keep your brand alive? You need to get back to making exclusives. Point blank. I don't understand why this is so hard, is to put your games on your platform where only you can get it on that platform. Now, Sony is starting to realize that. They're not going back to the PC things. Well, that's rumored. They're not putting their games on PC, which I still think that's a good move and a bad move. I do think at the end of the day, once the games get 4 or 5 years old, throw them on PC, you'll be fine. But Xbox want to do this day and date thing, and they wonder why all of the revenue is just declining. The console sales are declining. Software sales decline. They're making good money on PlayStation because of the fact that their games that was once exclusive, they're on PlayStation. They're making money on PC because they're on PC. But if you put them on your own platform, you'll make the money on both ways. People will buy. You got to understand, this is what I believe. If you get not one, not two, I would say at least three, especially at this point with Xbox, if you get at least 3 console exclusives for your next Xbox or whatever it's about to come out, you're going to be fine. At least 3 console exclusives. You can't get these on PC. You can't get it on PlayStation. You're not going to be able to get them anywhere else. You're going to have to put at least 3 console exclusives that are solid console exclusives, not just any run-of-the-mill game that, that probably just going to be tucked away anyway. You're going to have to put a real good console exclusive, 3 of them, on the platform, and people will buy the next console. Because people look at Xbox like why would I need an Xbox? I got a PC. People are looking at it like that. And the wording of the new Project Helix makes me think that, okay, this could be a situation where they are putting games on Xbox and PC on the same device. But when it says Xbox and PC, where you could play Xbox and PC games, maybe that's a little inkling saying like, hey, we're going to have our Xbox games over here, but if you want to play on Steam, you could do that too. So that's what I'm thinking that's going to happen. But maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I also feel that, look, you got to have this console in a way that is basically appealing and at the same time be unique. When you look at the Xbox Series, that did look a little unique for a console, but it looked like a PC. The PS5 just looked extremely unique. It looked something different. It looks like a device people will want. When you look at the original Xbox, that original Xbox had a big X on it, and it looked different, and people did gravitate to it when it first came out. Now, was one of the biggest selling consoles of all time? No, no, that's not the case. And Xbox, you want to thrive for that, but you also have to understand that you got to crawl before you walk again. You got to get back into the graces of the masses to where, hey, maybe we can sell enough to make a profit on the back end. Well, we're not trying to worry about these astronomical numbers in the public view of what's first, second, and third, and we just got to make enough to make a profit so we can continue to build this thing. Because somebody got to be in last place at some point anyway. Not saying that you got to be a loser, but you can be a successful loser. And I know that sounds weird, but to be honest, a lot of people live their lives that way. There's only one that could be a winner in life, in pretty much every form of competition. It only could be one. The rest going to have to make their ways, even if you're 2, 3, 4, and 5, but you still got to be sustainable. So that's not the mentality that they should have, and I don't think they do. But us gamers, we think like that. We think like that, like, yeah, we got to be number one, or it's a failure. In most instances, yes. But for Xbox, bro, you can't just be having 32, 42, 52% declines every year. You got to have at least 10%, 20%, 15, 70, oh, I ain't gonna 70, but 30% increase. That's what you need. You don't need to be number one. You just need to, because you're losing money on the Xbox brand. So this console has to be something that is appealing, unique, cool, people will want, so you can at least make a profit. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters, no matter what title that these gamers or whatever the numbers say. Your numbers got to be a profit. So when I look at the next Xbox, you got to get out of your own way. You got to get out of your own way. I understand you want to have a device that has both PC and Xbox. I mean, I think that's cool. But when you start thinking about, let's say, the next Gears or whatever, or you got the next whatever Xbox game that is exclusive under your brand, the Activision Blizzard stuff or whatever, that can be exclusive, you got to keep that under wraps. You need at least 3 titles. Keep them under wraps on that particular device. Yeah, you can still play PC games on it, but don't go to Steam looking for it. You can go to Steam OS on our device, but that game's not going to be on it. You got to buy it from us. That right there is one of the only ways that you're going to start thriving again, and you don't have to worry about, declining sales year over year. And for me, that's what kind of gravitated me to the Xbox brand to begin with, because when I started out with the original Xbox, that was something I knew. There were games over there I knew I wasn't going to get anywhere else. And back in 2001, I wasn't building a PC. I wasn't even thinking about building a PC. The PC game wasn't even a thing of it wasn't even a thing in my imagination to have. So when I started looking at the Doom 3s, the Deus Ex, when I started seeing what was the other game, Counter-Strike, I started seeing Forza Motorsport, which, to be honest, Forza Motorsport, when that came out, it didn't come out as a day-and-day release, but one of those of the console. But when I saw Forza Motorsport come out in 2004, that was one of the reasons why that racing game you can't get nowhere else. No matter what they say about Gran Turismo 4 or whatever they say about it, and I love those games, don't get me wrong, but the way that Forza Motorsport ran, and the way the car mechanics and the beauty of that game, nothing was touching it. Even though that Gran Turismo 4 could have done 1080i, Forza Motorsport just felt good, and the controller was built for it. Those are the type of things that they need again. They need those type of games that, like, look, it is built for Xbox, it's for Xbox, and it's for Xbox gamers. They don't do that anymore. Everything gotta be all for everything. This is an Xbox stuff. They need to get rid of that. They need to get back into, Project Helix is gonna be that is gonna be that device that can get you going in a gaming space that you can't get nowhere else. That's basically how it has to be. And it's not that hard. It's not that simple. I'm sorry, it's not that hard. It is that simple. And I don't understand why Microsoft is trying to go this route to being everything to everybody. Because when you're everything to everybody, you're nothing to nobody. Look at Nintendo. Nintendo has gotten so far out of the way of being a gaming company. People don't even look at them as a gaming company anymore. It's just Nintendo's doing their thing. It's just Nintendo is doing their thing. That's the way they look at Nintendo right now. When Nintendo come out with a new game, a new Zelda, Mario, Donkey Kong, whatever, oh, that's just Nintendo. They don't even look at them in the space with the PCs and the Sonys and the Microsofts of the world. They don't even look at them like that. That's how far out they are. Sony is. They dip their toe on PC. They're still going to be there in some form or fashion. They're still going to be there. But they realize, like, look, our single player games is what made what made us what we are ever since the PlayStation 1 days. We need to get back to that. And Xbox the same way. You got to understand, man. Dead or Alive 3, you couldn't play that nowhere else. You know what I'm saying? Halo at one point you couldn't play that nowhere else. It was a reason to get an Xbox, even though, like I said, they only sold 25, 30 million units of their Xbox brand. And but they doubled back, and when they got to the 360, they fixed a lot of stuff that was wrong with that original Xbox, And the 360, I'll sit here and say it again, is one of the best consoles that was ever put out there, even with the Red Ring of Death. Some of those games over there, and the way that console runs to this day, if you get a later model of the Xbox 360, people are still gravitating to still playing it. Because you look at Xbox One and Xbox Series, people are like, okay, I got it, it's cool, but it doesn't feel unique. And they need to get back to that. You know, I got rid of my Xbox Series because of that. It just didn't feel like, well, I got this and I got a PC. Why? Now I do realize, like I said, it got to be at least 3 games that you can get somewhere that you can't get anywhere else. Is the reason why I do want another Xbox again. I love Forza 5, 6, and what's the other game I said? Halo Infinite. I can't play those nowhere else. Not Infinite, I'm sorry, Halo 5, Guardians. I can't play those nowhere else. And I got a lot of content I need to be dipping my toe into when it comes to Forza 6. Because I love racing games. And I do want to at least beat the campaign on Halo 5. So, and those 3 games make me want to get the console again. But that's what Xbox had. They got to get back into the way of, hey, I need to get this console to the masses. I need to get to know when we make a profit off our hardware sales. How do we do that? Well, one exclusive is not going to be enough. People say that, oh, I'm buying, there's a PC gamer saying, if this game don't come out day and date, I'm going to buy a PS5 for GTA 6. That's the only game that I know that really push one console sale like that. It ain't like how it used to be. You know, Halo was that at one point. You know, even with Sony, you know, Uncharted was that game. People bought, you know, a PS3 for Uncharted, or even Spider-Man. I think it was Spider-Man. Was it Spider-Man? I can't remember. But yeah, people bought these consoles for one game. But now you're going to have to switch it up. It has to be at least 3. I'm telling you, just the way the hole that they dig themselves in, it has to be at least 3 games. So, like I said, they're going to have to find a way to get whatever game they can exclusive to the next Xbox. They're just going to have to. Maybe they can go talk to EA, and this would not be a bad idea. And I know I'm far-fetching this, so I may need to end this video before I go too far in the weeds. Maybe they need to go talk to EA and see about getting that Need for Speed IP. They're not using it. We already know what you can do with cars. We see what you can do with cars when it comes to Turn 10 and Forza Horizon. Go get Need for Speed and make another a cop pursuit chasing game with your Turn 10 engine. That's a start. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm going to get up out of here. Peace.